SAP GUI is available on web also. It's called Web GUI. Right, so this is, I'm connecting to SP1. So if I connect to SP1, this is, I'm connecting to SAP GUI through a browser. Right? This is not SD1, it's SP1, right? Same look and feel, but it's opening within a browser. Menus, right? It's just that the transaction code looks a little different, status bar looks slightly different, not significantly different, right? I can do /n SM
has left the conference.
If I do /n SM04, I will see users connected, and guess what? In SP1, I am the only user connected, and I am using the HTTP plugin. This is coming through which work process? ICM. Coming through Internet Communication Manager. From ICM it is going to the dispatcher. From the dispatcher it is going to the dialogue work process. So I just wanted to show this to you, right? So you will see sometimes plug-in HTTP here. So it's important for you to look at it, right? This is the memory that guy has used, right? Very important, because if you have got situations where extensive extended memory is being utilized, you need to pay attention to here. What's happening for that user? And now comes, a junior basis admin help desk would just end here, but now you need to look at the details behind this. If I pick one of these, right, I have an option to look at the sessions. So Ajay Saini has got 2 sessions here, right? I can click on sessions, I can see both the sessions, right? And I can kill one of the sessions if I wanted to. Highlight that, end session. So if you see multiple sessions, you can hit on sessions to look at both of those sessions. You can look at user info by clicking on user info. It will tell you the username, first name, last name, extension coming from SU01, from the user master. You can look at the details, right, as well, right, a little bit more information. But most importantly, right, is your ability to go to memory. If you say go to memory, it takes you to this kind of a screen, and now it is showing you for that user how much role memory, page memory, and total memory is being utilized, right? So of the 7 meg the person was using, how is it split up? And last thing which you don't want to ever see is anything running in what's called priv mode or in private mode. That means they consumed what was available in extended memory and went into heap. That thing is almost certainly going to fail once the heap is exhausted. Right? So that's memory private. Private means it cannot be shared. That means it's not an extended memory where you can just redirect the pointer. That means you cannot multiplex on it anymore. It is private to you. And only when you log off will it be returned back to the pool.
I mean, is there any issue you can share with them? You might have came across memory related stuff?
Yeah, all the time. So essentially, a lot of times when you will get complaints that, my stuff is still running, or somebody else's session got terminated, you come in here and you see there are 2 or 3 people who are running and things are sitting in gigabytes, not even in megabytes, in gigabytes. Right? You will figure out who that person is, call that person, what are you running, how are you running it, why are you running it, right? Troubleshooting it, right? And typically you will find users running transactions open-ended. There was a selection criteria, they didn't put the selection criteria. Boom, right? Now if you do boom on a General Motor system, right? Show me everything about all the cars everywhere in the world, right? It's just going to run and run and run because you just pulled everything from the database into the internal table. So you need to know those kind of things, right?
So whatever memory picture I'm looking at here is the extended memory, right?
Yeah. So role memory and page memory to total memory is here. What it's not showing you is the extended memory. It is part of the total memory. It's not showing it to you separately, and I'll talk about how one can look at it, right? And this is in addition to the extended memory. This total memory is a summation of role, page, and extended. So you see, right? Like this is not adding up, right? This is 6.6 meg. So the difference between this, and this number is the extended memory, right? If I pick one of these up, it does not, so you have to just, it does not separately give you the ability to add the column. So this is the total memory, the difference, and this is the part which is not an extended, these two. That's why they're just showing it to you separately. And this would be heap. And in all of these columns you can do an F1. Right? So it says extended memory is used to store the user context. This is what I was telling you, right? So this is the F1 on it, right? Is that it is extended memory. But some portion of it, since this is total, even though the helper is not sharing it with you, but some portion of this number is role and page, but very small portion. But even if you see high page, you need to see, why is it paging, right? So you would have to, like this one is 2 meg of the 7 meg, right? But if it is 2 gig of a 7 gig, you would be worried, right? Why is it going to the page file? So an important area to come in and look at. Also, you can log off a user, right? Local, just on that system, just on that instance, or on the whole system, wherever, in whichever instances he or she is logged on, just disconnect, right? Whether you want system users to appear or not, right? You can turn on trace for that person if you want to trace what he or she is doing. Technical information, a little bit of more information about that log on, right? I've typically not found this to be any useful, but it's there. This is SM04. AL08 also we had. This is AL08. So what I'm showing you here is, that's the kind of due diligence you need to do to each transaction, right? You cannot just first screen which comes up, right? That's what a junior basis admin or a help desk guy would do, right? You guys need to kind of see, okay, what kind of issues would manifest in what kind of fashion on that screen? What are the bad things in there? What are the good things in there? If I need to open up 2 or 3 screens together to make sense out of it, what would I be doing? That's the level I want to teach you at. So here, active instances, number of users which are logged into the active instances. Now, classic case, your manager walks past saying, oh, Ajay, how many users are logged into the system? If you say the answer is 23, just because you saw 23 here, 7 times 6, 17 plus 6 is 23, wrong. The number of interactive users is what we really want to give. because the answer is really 17, 14 plus 3, truly speaking. These other guys, these 6 people here, most of the time, most of these people are RFC users. Anybody here an engineer? Heisenberg's engineer? Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, remember? What is it? Okay. So, well, you know, where it's, you know, it's the act of, you know, measuring the momentum of the electron changes the momentum of the electron, right? So the fact that I'm trying to find out how many users are logged into the system is changing the number of users who are logged into the system, because I am myself going to each application server and figuring out how many people are there. And if the whole class is doing it, I'm counting all of those RFC connections, right? So if I look at Dhingra A is here, Dhingra A is here, right? I'm not really logged on to both of them, but since I'm running AL08, it is logging me in to tell me who's there in 02.
That's the RFC connection.
That's the RFC connection. And a lot of that is typically going on in a system. So when you answer 23 to your manager, you counted this and you counted this. 17 plus 6. But truly speaking, interactive users was the number you had to give. So important point to remember, right? The details are here. There's on AL08, you know, typically there's nothing much, you know, you would look at, but if there are 4 or 5 servers, all of them would list here. If you see something like this, 000 username session manager, this kind of a entry means what? Can anybody guess? What does this mean?
I would say it's the admin account. Client 000 is the admin is the blank copy, right?
No. What this means is, somebody sitting on the screen. Log on load balanced. So that's why I know, see, it came from Khoj 0, this is this laptop. I don't know, I am not logged in, so it does not know whom are you going to log in as, but it knows it's your machine, you're in the session manager screen, and I don't know which client you're going to go in as. So it went to the message server at that client. If you see, and the reason I'm saying it's important is if you see a lot of people, right, some system network problem going on, right, if you see too many entries in there, right, or there is a bolt-on product which is causing an issue, right, it's making calls but not really connecting. So you have, you know, so these are the kind of things, right, as you progress and you work on productive systems, there's a pattern of kind of things you would see, right? And if you recognize those patterns in your training program itself, you'll be much better off.
So whatever the transaction code setting with session manager, it means they are ideal. They're not doing anything.
No, that means they are not idle. What means they're on the screen, log on screen. They're not logged on, right? Or they're just logged on. You know, if they're idle, but they're idle because previously they did some transaction, it's still going to show the previous transaction. Right? Like this being A, right? Or which one? Like means most of you guys, right? You're sitting on either AL08 or SM04 not doing anything. You're idle, but you're sitting on those transactions.